Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bibliophila, where I discuss books that inspire us, enrich our minds and broaden our mental horizon. Today I will be starting the Merchant of Venice series to provide all of you with a general idea of William Shakespeare's literary greatness. William Shakespeare 1564 to 1616 was an English playwright, poet and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often referred to as England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. His works, including collaborations, consist of some 39 plays, 154 sonnets, 3 long narrative poems and a few verses. His plays have been translated into every major living language in the world and are performed more than that of any other playwright. The Merchant of Venice was first written by him in the 16th century Common Era, featuring the Italian cities of Venice and Belmont. It was first classified as a comedy on account of its dramatic scenes and love stories having happy endings. Unlike the fatal conflicts in Shakespearean tragedies, his comedies are particularly light-hearted and humorous, all ending in at least one marriage. The practice of ending plays with at least one wedding is to provide assurance to the audience that whatever conflicts arise in the play will be resolved before any serious harm can come to the protagonist or the society at large. The play consists of 2 main plots and 2 subplots, all interwoven into one dramatic story. The 2 main plots are the Bond story and the Lottery of the Caskets. In the Bond story, Bassanio, an extravagant and spendthrift young man, wishes to marry Portia, a rich heiress from Belmont. In order to present himself as a worthy suitor, he asks Antonio, his best friend, who is also a very rich merchant, for some money. Antonio is unable to provide him with the money in cash at present, since all his fortunes are tied up at sea with his ships. So he asks Bassanio to use his name or credit to borrow some money from a moneylender in Venice. Hence Bassanio borrows some money from Shylock, the Jewish moneylender. The Lottery of Caskets is an event which takes place at Portia's house in Belmont, by which she is to choose a suitable husband for herself. Every suitor had to play a game with 3 caskets, gold, silver and lead. The one who chose the right casket would be in Portia's hand in marriage. The right casket was the one which contained Portia's portrait inside it, but the lady was not at all happy with this system, which was willed by her deceased father. She is apparently an independent young woman with her own thoughts and opinions, and it is disturbing for her to be barred by the wishes of her father. This represents the evils of society in those days, where a woman's thoughts were of negligible importance over that of a man's. However, it was Bassanio himself who chose the right casket and won Portia's hand in marriage. These 2 plots are interconnected because unless Bassanio wanted to marry Portia, he would not have asked Antonio for some money. Antonio, to help his friend Bassanio, entered into the inhuman bond with Shylock when Bassanio loaned a sum of 3,000 ducats for 3 months from him, with Antonio acting as surety. Bassanio married Portia by choosing the right casket. Portia disguised herself as a lawyer and helped Antonio win the case against Shylock in court. The 2 subplots in this play are the Jessica Lorenzo love story and the ring episode. Jessica, Shylock's daughter, falls in love with Lorenzo, Antonio and Bassanio's friend, and elopes with him. That and the fact that she had stolen jewels from her father angered Shylock and fueled his hatred towards the Christians, especially Antonio. The ring episode is an offshoot of the Lottery of Caskets, where the rings are exchanged between Bassanio and Portia after Bassanio chooses the right casket. The rings represent emotional as well as economic value. Bassanio and Gratiano, in the Bond story of the trial scene, give away their rings to Portia and Nerissa disguised as lawyers as a token of gratitude and respect for saving Antonio against Shylock in court. This ring episode, with its elements of fun and humor, relieves the tension created by the trial scene. As Shylock has developed from the comic grotesque enjoyed by Elizabethan audiences to the sympathetic, almost tragic figure of more modern times, so the play has been darkened by shadows of racial and political injustice. Jews were exploited and oppressed in the worst way possible in the 16th century. They had to live in isolated settlements whose gates were guarded by Christians at night. They had to wear a red cap as an identity. They could not own any property or conduct any trade. With no other means to survive, they conducted money lending at interest, which the Christians looked down upon. According to the Christians, kindness and generosity was something exclusive to them. This represents the evils of society in those days and also the hypocrisy of most Christians who talked about kindness while they abused the Jews. Shylock, as we see, is merely a victim of lifelong exploitation. Life has taught him to use cunning means to take what he deserves, since nobody has been kind enough to give him anything out of love or generosity. His whole life has been exploited by Christians, but when his own daughter eloped with one, he could not control himself. He has nothing in the world except his money and business, so we cannot actually blame him for tricking Antonio. The play revolves around the themes of love, loyalty, friendship, punishment, law, and marriage. We will look into these themes as we move on with the play. I sincerely hope that you have found the introduction to the Merchant of Venice interesting. If you have, please do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel Bibliophila. I will be discussing various issues related to this play in this series.